For years after graduation, my roommate, Holly, got married and asked us to be her bridesmaids. We had to pay for our own travel, hotels, and dresses. No cash gifts for us. We got to her rural hometown at 6 a.m. the day before to help decorate the house. The day after, once the wedding reception ended in the evening, we had to find our own way back from the countryside. But for the sake of our friendship, the three of us still showed up with cash gifts, ready to be played for fools. We endured the humiliation of the crude local wedding hazing, only to hear her announce at the end, "These are my 3 maids." The groom was my ex-boyfriend from college. At the wedding, we had to listen to their 8-year love story, which was punctuated by embarrassing, ugly photos of all of us from the dorm, used to make the bride look elegant and refined by comparison. That's when we finally snapped and smashed the big screen. That night, I woke up in my old college dorm room. Holly was showing off a bottle of Shiseido serum that a suitor had sent her. There were 4 of us in the room. 3 of us had been reborn. I told him I don't need any more skincare, but he insisted on sending it. On Christmas Eve too. So romantic. You think he's into me, right? Holly held up the red bottle, taking pictures and showing it off, trying to be casual about it. But she didn't notice the way I was looking at her had completely changed. No one had asked, but she kept talking. This upperclassman told me his girlfriend isn't as pretty as me and doesn't have as good a body. Do you think he's trying to hint at something? He asked me out tonight, but I'm not interested in that kind of thing. Just then, my phone buzzed. It was a text from my boyfriend with a selfie from his dorm room, followed by a 5.20 cash gift. The message read, "Sorry babe, I'm swamped with homework and can't be with you on Christmas Eve. I'll buy you a present as soon as I get paid from my part-time job." In the corner of the picture, I could see the empty box for the Shiseido serum. The cheapness of it all made me sick. No wonder he and Holly had an 8-year love story. They were already hooking up back then. Holly, wearing my Gucci coat and carrying my Chanel bag, sprayed on my Jo Malone perfume and said, "Tanya, didn't your boyfriend ask you out? I'm so jealous of you. I've been booked for Christmas since last month. It's like these guys have never seen a girl with money before. I'm going to the library tonight. You can put my coat and bag down. I need them." Holly froze. "I forgot to tell you, my family always puts disinfectant in expired cosmetics to avoid accidents. Which foundation did you just use? And which perfume? Does your face hurt?" Holly's face changed in an instant. She frantically started wiping her face and removing her makeup, shouting, "Why didn't you say so sooner? Are you trying to hurt me on purpose?" I jumped down from my bunk and stared at her coldly. "Did you ask me before you used my stuff? Just because I never said anything doesn't mean I didn't know. Why are you being so aggressive all of a sudden? It's not like it's worth that much." Holly gave me a defiant glare, put on a mask, and headed for the door. "Well, you're not wearing this dress, are you? I'm running late, gotta go on my date." The dress she had on was also a designer one I'd bought, a summer spaghetti strap. Holly grabbed her jacket but deliberately didn't put it on, walking through the December campus with her shoulders bare. Her figure was curvy, and with a toss of her long, wavy hair, she made every guy who passed her do a double take. Her intentions couldn't have been more obvious. I just smiled and remotely locked my Porsche. Sure enough, less than half an hour later, Holly burst back into the dorm, bundled up in a down jacket and furious. Her lips were purple from the cold. What a broke loser. He actually wanted me to take the bus with him. The bus? To go eat on Rodeo Drive. Is he insane? At the same time, my boyfriend blew up my phone with 5 frantic texts. "Why won't the Porsche start?" Before I could reply, a video call from him was already coming through. The ringtone startled Holly. She looked at me about to speak, but I answered the call right in front of her. "Tanya, what's your problem? Why'd you lock the Porsche?" Hearing my boyfriend's voice, Holly quickly looked away. But there was no sign of guilt or panic. Great. So they were intentionally cheating on me together. I've been driving that car for so long, how could you? Whose car is it, dude? If I'm in a bad mood, I can't lock it? You're supposed to be in your dorm doing homework, so why do you need to drive anywhere? My tone was even harsher than his, and it threw him off completely. My boyfriend stammered. I was just asking. Why are you so worked up? I saw Holly on the bottom bunk angrily pulling off the dress. I laughed. Don't tell me you were planning to use my car to impress someone on a date? Well, let me tell you something interesting. I also heard about someone who goes on dates wearing her friend's clothes and carrying her friend's bag. She even uses her friend's 3-ply toilet paper. I feel like I'm running a charity, not attending college. My boyfriend's face turned red, and he abruptly hung up. Holly immediately shot back. Who are you being so passive-aggressive about, Tanya? My clothes were in the wash, that's why I wore yours. And are you really going to complain about me using a few tissues? I don't owe you anything, do I? You're taking your anger out on your roommate just because you have a deadbeat boyfriend. I haven't done anything to anyone. Just then, Megan came back from the library. As she set down her full thermos, Holly ran over to her, playing the victim. Megan, you be the judge. Tanya is getting on my case over a few tissues. Are we even friends anymore? Megan, stone-faced, said flatly. I'm not so sure about that. Megan had been reborn too. After the wedding, she was furious with Holly. Among the embarrassing photos shown at the wedding was one of her in just her underwear. What's gotten into you guys today? You're all acting so weird. Holly sat down awkwardly, trying to change the subject. We're usually all so close, but today it's like you've all gone crazy. Whatever, I won't stoop to that level. Megan, can you pour me some hot water? I almost froze to death today. Megan didn't even look at her, screwing the cap on her thermos tightly. If you want hot water, go get it yourself. We're not your maids. Holly froze, her eyes instantly welling up with tears. She retreated to her bed and started crying. I didn't do anything to any of you. Girl, are you ever going to drop the princess act? You played us for fools in our past life. You really think we're going to put up with it again? Megan glanced at me and asked if I wanted to go shower, completely ignoring Holly as if she were thin air. When we got back, Holly was on a video call with someone, smiling from ear to ear. Yes, Mark, I miss you too. Of course I'm in my dorm. There are only 3 of us here. Right now one of the girls went home for the weekend. What's so interesting about a girl's dorm? It's just some beds and desks. Here, I'll show you. With that, Holly sat up, switched to her rear camera, and started brazenly filming the room. I quickly wrapped my towel tighter around myself and warned her. There are people changing in here. Don't film. Holly, wearing headphones, acted like she couldn't hear and giggled as she gave the guy a tour. Megan snapped. She stormed over, ended Holly's video call, and slapped her hard across the face. Are you deaf? I said people are changing. And our underwear is hanging up to dry. Who are you showing that to? Holly shrieked like a banshee. Mark is my cousin. What's wrong with showing him? And who would even want to look at you? You could be naked and no one would care, you fat pig. Megan fell silent. She was from the Midwest, 5'7", and weighed less than 130 pounds. Since when was that fat? Her eyes, filled with hatred, bored into Holly, fury rising within her. You are disgusting. She was strong. She kicked Holly onto the bed, snatched her phone, and forced her thumb onto the sensor to unlock it. What are you doing? What are you doing with my phone? Megan shot me a look. With a grim expression, I opened Holly's photo album. It didn't take long to find the incriminating pictures. My underwear hanging to dry, photos of Sam and Megan changing, and a fully nude picture of Megan while she was changing. When I got to that one, I handed the phone to Megan. Her eyes immediately turned red. That was an accident. I don't even know when I took that, Holly stammered. Finally, she just turned her face away and said stubbornly, What's on my phone is none of your business. Stop invading my privacy, it's illegal, you know. The next second, she let out a blood-curdling scream as Megan ripped her clothes in half. You're crazy, you fat pig, you. Megan stuffed the torn fabric into Holly's mouth, stripped her naked, and threw her onto the bed. With the room door wide open and the lights blazing, Holly, pale with terror, curled up on the bed, whimpering and shaking. I'm warning you. I've deleted everything from your phone. If you ever dare to film us again, I will strip you naked and dump you at the entrance of the main academic building. You believe me? Tears and snot streamed down Holly's face as she nodded frantically. Only then did Megan let her go, turning to grab her laundry basket. After a moment, Holly scrambled to put on new clothes, grabbed her phone, and ran out the door. Are you going to our advisor? I called out. Fine by me. But Megan's a one-track mind. I bet she'll see this through to the end. What do you think happens if this blows up? Holly stopped at the door, her fists clenched so tight her knuckles were white, tears streaming from her bloodshot eyes. I walked over with a cold smile, taking her arm as if to comfort her. Come on, blowing this up won't do anyone any good. Besides, we're all roommates, best friends, right? Holly looked at me through her tears, a flicker of cunning calculation in her eyes before she quickly put on a wronged expression. Of course we're best friends. I just wanted to capture all our little moments together, for memories after we graduate. How could Megan do this to me? What a talent for twisting the truth. The stench of her fake sincerity was overwhelming. No wonder we fell for it before. She's probably just tired and cranky from working 3 part-time jobs. We're all best friends, so you should just let it go. Holly wiped her tears and squeezed my hand with faux sincerity. You're right. Best friends shouldn't sweat the small stuff. Megan's from the countryside and has a temper. I was raised better, a city girl. I can be the bigger person. That night, Holly sent a series of long texts to our 4th roommate, Samantha. The gist was, I'm being bullied and ostracized in the dorm. Megan physically assaulted me. If you're willing to back me up, we can go to our advisor together and get the school to discipline Megan. I won't let her get away with this. Do you really think Tanya is your real friend? She's so rich. Why would she ever look down and see you? Do you really think Megan is your real friend? She's jealous that you're an LA local and curses you behind your back all the time. I'm the only true friend you have left. We should stick together. Samantha immediately forwarded the text to me with just 3 words. Is she crazy? Samantha had been reborn too. She was lucky she wasn't in any of the underwear photos, but at the wedding, Holly had shamelessly joked about her. So what if she's from LA? Both her parents are dead. I have a better life, and I'm just from a rural town. Samantha's parents had died in a car accident after she graduated from college. That comment had made her so angry, she was the first one to throw something at the screen. Late that night, the 3 of us reflected in our group chat on why we'd been so completely fooled by Holly in our past life. It was our first time living in a dorm, and we all felt we should be tolerant and patient. Living together for 4 years felt like gaining 3 new family members. So what if one family member had princess syndrome, was a bit of a freeloader, and spoke without a filter? She had her flaws, but we figured we did too, so we just put up with each other. After graduation, when Holly cried about not being able to find bridesmaids, we stepped up like suckers. We never expected her to spend her own wedding trampling all over our boundaries, finally showing us what a piece of trash she really was. So this time around, none of us were going to let her off the hook. The following Monday in class, Holly stuck to Samantha like glue, sitting with her in the back row and trying to strike up a friendly conversation over a shared textbook. Her agenda couldn't have been more obvious. During the lecture, my ex-boyfriend texted me, asking why he couldn't log into my QQ account. That account was linked to a popular mobile MOBA game. I played on a different server and didn't use that account, but I'd unlocked all the character skins. I had always given him the login info. After being reborn, I'd changed all my passwords. I instinctively glanced back at Holly. Sure enough, she was holding her phone sideways, waiting in the game's lobby. I found my old account info, logged into the game, and instantly received an invitation from Don't Bully My Holly. In the team chat, Holly typed, just 1 more star to get to the top rank. Come on, carry me pro. Using your skins feels so good. She was even using a matching couple's profile picture with my account. Truly disgusting. In our past life, they were flaunting it right in my face, and I never even noticed. I joined the game, picked a jungler, and proceeded to steal Holly's farm, steal her kills, and use her as bait. She got so mad she nearly threw her phone several times. But I carried her to a win. Holly excitedly ran to the bathroom to make a voice call, cooing, "Thank you for carrying me to the top rank, you're the best." Before she could finish, I slammed open the stall door and shoved the post-game stats screen in her face. Feels good, doesn't it? Sucking up to someone else's boyfriend in a bathroom stall. Is that loser better than me? Can he go 12-0 and carry you to the top rank? Can he drive you to Rodeo Drive in a Porsche? If you love picking up trash so much, I can move a garbage can to your bed. You can dig through it day and night. The two of you are dating on my dime. Am I your dad? Am I supposed to keep funding you until he marries someone and you get hitched? Holly's face was beet red. She stood awkwardly in the stall, shifting her weight from one foot to the other and muttering, "Who are you talking about? I don't understand. We just played a game together. Are you jealous or something?" Megan happened to walk in just then. She marched up to the door, eyes wide, and asked me, "What's this? I hear she's a home-wrecking slut now too?" The next second, Megan started rolling up her sleeves, which scared Holly so much she practically jumped 3 feet in the air. She managed to duck under Megan's arm and bolt. Samantha walked by outside, holding Holly's bag, and gave us a reassuring look. "What's wrong, Holly? Why are you running?" Samantha chased after her, pretending to be concerned as they disappeared down the hall. Insulting family was a hard line. I figured Holly would have a much worse time trying to cozy up to Samantha. Just then my ex called. Seeing that I wasn't answering, Megan asked bluntly, "Want me to answer and chew that scumbag out for you?" But why would I let him off the hook so easily? I had to keep him around to torture him properly. Megan stood by the sink, applying Vaseline to her hands. "Just don't let him fool you again," she advised. "I remember you two broke up senior year anyway. This time, just do it sooner." She had a part-time job washing dishes in a kitchen, and her hands were red, raw, and chapped. Sometimes she could barely hold a pen. Her family was from one of the poorest counties in the country. Reborn. She wanted to ride the wave of social media to make money. In those years, individual content creators could get a lot of incentives. Platforms like YouTube and TikTok were just starting to take off. So Megan was working 3 jobs just to save up for a DJI camera to shoot videos. I asked if she needed help, but she confidently said no. She was sure she could make money this time around, and she didn't even want to apply for student financial aid. She wanted to leave it for students who needed it more. But to our surprise, on the day the financial aid application notice came out, just as someone mentioned Megan, Holly posted 4 or 5 selfies in our class group chat with the caption, "I saw a rich guy's toy. Is this the newest DJI model? It's awesome. My roommate just bought a new DJI. Turns out she was saving every penny for such an expensive hobby. She's so amazing." Secretly touching my roomie Megan's DJI heart emoji. Although she quickly deleted it, a lot of people saw it. She then posted a tongue-out emoji, saying with fake innocence that she'd posted in the wrong chat. Then she immediately reposted the same thing to her public feed. I figured Megan was at work and hadn't seen her phone. Otherwise, she would have been angry enough to climb through the screen and tear Holly apart. The next second, a private message from class president Samantha popped up. Holly actually applied for financial aid. She's already preparing her materials. So what's the plan? Should we take care of her? Holly was no charity case. She cultivated a rich girl from the city persona, even using the latest iPhone, and her social feed was full of her showing off. But for this financial aid application, she had set all her social media profiles to private and started deliberately eating the cheapest vegetarian meal at the cafeteria, though I couldn't tell who she was trying to fool. Our class president, Samantha, handled her application. It claimed her family was destitute, both parents were laid off and paralyzed, and they were drowning in debt and on the verge of suicide. But we had been to her hometown for the wedding. Her parents were liquor distributors, the richest family in the village. The line of relatives who came for the wedding hazing stretched down the entire street. A real student in need wasn't going to get that money, but a liar like her was going to walk away with it. Samantha and I went to see our advisor. So at the end of the class meeting that day, our advisor closed the door and placed a box on the lecture podium. "I'd like to ask for a few minutes of your time. We are a caring community, and I'd like us to help a student in our class who is facing hardship. Holly." Holly froze, clueless about the drama that was about to unfold. I pulled out a $100 bill and dropped it into the box. "I'm Holly's roommate." I was worried she was trying to bear this burden alone, so I spoke up for her. "It seems her family has run into some serious trouble recently. She's been pinching every penny, a completely different person from before. The advisor sighed with great sorrow. Holly, please don't let pride get in your way, and please don't do anything foolish. Our class will help you get through this. Holly shot up from her seat, mouth agape, speechless. Her furious gaze could have burned holes in me. Samantha covered her mouth in mock surprise. Holly, your family is going through something that serious? No wonder you cleared all your social media. I heard you were even trying to sell your clothes and bags at a low price. Oh my God, is there anything I can do to help? No, it's not that bad. I'm not short on money. Holly was sweating, clutching her phone tightly, unable to explain herself. If you're not short on money, why are you applying for financial aid? Don't pretend you're fine. I took out another 100 and put it in the box. Classmates, I don't think a fundraiser is the right way to go. It might hurt Holly's pride. She'll think we're pitying her, but we're not. We genuinely want to help. This $200 is for buying some of Holly's clothes. Please everyone support Holly's little business. Help her sell off her clothes and cosmetics. Show a little love, okay? A murmur went through the room, and many students started putting money into the box. Holly was so frantic she was practically jumping up and down, finally collapsing into her chair in tears. The advisor patted her on the shoulder to comfort her, but she just sobbed and pointed a finger. Professor, please don't do this, it's so embarrassing. Why did you have to announce my business to everyone? How am I supposed to face everyone now? Samantha took her hand and said earnestly, I think the advisor did the right thing. I was also worried you might do something drastic. Just a week ago you were wearing Gucci, carrying Chanel, and riding in a Porsche. Your outfit alone was worth over $10,000. But lately, you've only been eating the $4 vegetarian meal. Who could handle such a drastic change? I have to help you. You're my best friend. Holly dug her nails into Samantha's hand, nearly drawing blood, and squeezed out 5 words through gritted teeth. I really have you to thank. Samantha's tears turned to a smile. She shook her head. Silly, what are friends for? By the time we got back to the dorm, the story of Holly, the poor girl from a rural town whose parents were suddenly laid off, paralyzed, and in debt, and her application for aid had been exaggerated and spread everywhere. There were even rumors she had almost jumped off a building. The dorm RA led a procession of well-meaning students who lined up outside our room to donate by supporting Holly's business. High heels, dresses, purses, cosmetics, everything she owned was sold off at bargain basement prices. Many of her designer items were identified as fakes, and she had to swallow her pride and give refunds. Her rich girl persona was shattered into a million pieces. In the end, she sat dazed in front of her empty closet, crying silently, unable to voice her misery. Yo, I'm back late. Looks like I missed the sale. Megan stood with her hands on her hips and tossed a $10 bill on Holly's desk. I bust my ass every day trying to make money, and I gave up my spot for financial aid so a student who actually needs it could have it. Not so some liar could scam the system. But hey, if someone's begging to be a charity case, I can spare $10. A little something for the poor girl. After all, she's a beggar now. Holly's head snapped up, her eyes blazing with uncontrollable rage. She screamed and lunged at Megan, claws out. I don't need your pity, you fat pig. Even at my poorest, I'm still richer than your family. It happened too fast. Scratches instantly appeared on Megan's neck. She shoved Holly away with one hand. Holly lost her balance and hit her head hard on the metal bed frame, dazed. That night, Holly was taken to the campus clinic. She cried and demanded that the school administration give her an explanation. The deans had no choice but to call in both sets of parents to resolve the issue. But Megan's dad was disabled, and her mom needed dialysis every week. It would take them 4 or 5 days to make the trip from their rural town. My parents were off doing charity work somewhere in Africa and couldn't come back either. Only Samantha's parents were local. The two of us put our heads together and asked Sam's parents to step in. I'd pay, and she'd provide the parents. We had to get justice for Megan. Parents weren't allowed to accompany us on move-in day our freshman year, so Holly had never met Samantha's parents. To really put on a show, I borrowed a friend's Maybach Zeppelin. However, it seemed Holly's parents didn't recognize this ultra-rare luxury car, one of only a handful in the entire state. They suggested meeting at the university's fancy West Side restaurant and invited all the roommates. Holly's mother opened with a passive-aggressive jab. "You two must be from the countryside, right? This meal's on us, so feel free to order anything you've never tried before." You know, a person's upbringing really shapes their character. We raised our Holly to be honest, kind, and considerate. She's not like other kids. My fists clenched. Megan shot back sarcastically, secretly filming roommates changing, forging documents to get financial aid, and physically assaulting classmates in the dorm. Yeah, she's definitely not like other kids. Holly's face paled. She stood up and yelled, "Megan, don't talk nonsense. I already explained everything. That's illegal. Try explaining it to the police and see how far that gets you." Holly's father's face darkened. He suddenly lowered his voice and threatened, "Don't push your luck. In this city, I have 1,000 ways to make sure your daughter's life is miserable. If you don't apologize, do you even want to stay in school?" With that, he suddenly stood up, grabbed a bottle of red wine from the table, and without even looking, hurled it at the Maybach. The sharp crash startled everyone. My heart skipped a beat. That was a borrowed Maybach. See that? This wine costs more than you'll ever make. I can smash as many as I want. What's your family's status to be messing with my daughter? You show up in some generic car trying to look important? I could total your car right now, and how much do you think you could even dare to ask for in repairs? Samantha's parents were furious. Both were teachers and had never encountered such classless people. In the end, they just muttered, "I've never seen such shameless thugs." Megan stood up, smiling. "Sir, didn't you say you were laid off and paralyzed? You seem to be standing just fine to smash a car." "I have to admire your nerve, though. Smashing a multi-million-dollar luxury car just like that. You must have a pretty big business." I was so angry my hair felt like it was standing on end. I didn't hesitate to call the police. At first, Holly's parents didn't believe it. When the officers arrived, they looked like their souls had been sucked out, their legs turning to jelly. As for Holly, she had long since shrunk into her chair, white-faced and silent. The first thing she said when the police arrived was, "My dad smashed the car, not me." Megan secretly pulled out the phone she'd hidden in a flower pot to record everything. Fearing their family's history of false accusations, Megan had come prepared. She quickly blurred out the faces and uploaded the video to TikTok. Within hours, it went viral. Millions of netizens were working to dox the arrogant LA family. Reporters from 4 or 5 TV stations were trying to contact Holly, including one from a major national paper, the kind with a blue check verification. At the police station, Holly's dad shamelessly tried to play dumb. "How was I supposed to know what kind of car that was? I'm not paying. That girl hurt my daughter first. I was just defending myself." Hearing this, Megan calmly handed her phone to the police officer. "This is a big deal. Let's just look at the evidence." Before midnight, Holly's entire family had been exposed down to their dirty laundry. The school's phone lines were blowing up with angry callers outing her for scamming financial aid and demanding a full investigation into the secret filming. Because they were called out by a major paper, Holly's family became infamous back in their hometown. I heard they tried to sneak back to hide out, but were reported by their own friends and relatives before they could even leave. Under immense public pressure, Holly admitted she had falsely accused Megan. A series of disciplinary notices were posted on the school's official website for a full week. After such a public humiliation, she was heckled whenever she walked on campus. In the end, she just took a leave of absence and hid at home. I heard her parents had to sell their house to pay for the car repairs. The day after Holly went home, my ex-boyfriend suddenly sent me 4 or 5 texts. He asked if one of my roommates owned a Maybach. Who was she? Was she single? His buddy wanted to get to know her. I scoffed. I'd been so busy dealing with Holly, I'd forgotten about this scumbag. How dare he come crawling back? I replied, "Send me $20,000, and the Maybach roommate's contact info is yours." I met my boyfriend, Kevin, at the freshman welcome party. He was a sophomore, head of the student arts and athletics department, and popular with the girls. Back then, I was a kid who cared about appearances. I saw everyone else had a partner, so I figured I needed one too, and I reached out to him. My generous spending made him look good in front of his friends, and his popularity made me look good in front of mine, so we made it official. Later, during my senior year, I was busy with applications to study abroad, but he kept pestering me for investment money for his startup. I got annoyed and told him off. I never imagined that during our 4 years together, he and Holly were just using me as their personal ATM. How about 6,000? We're all students. Who has that kind of money? Kevin asked. I smiled. I knew exactly what he was thinking as soon as he opened his mouth. His buddy? Please. It was obviously him trying to suck up to another rich girl. I replied. You think the contact info for a girl with a Maybach comes cheap? If you don't show some effort, why would she even look at your buddy? After sending the text, I went back to my dorm, pulled out a calculator, and started tallying up every single dollar I had spent on him this semester. By the time I finished, his transfer came through. 6,000 is all I've got. His family isn't wealthy either. He just really wants to meet the Maybach girl. I put my phone down and asked Samantha, do you have the number for that 40-year-old widow, Mrs. Wong, who lives downstairs? Send it to me. The social butterfly in her building, Mrs. Wong, photoshopped her pictures to look like Kim Kardashian. Her Instagram and social feeds were filled with posts pretending she was a 19-year-old who'd bought a Beverly Hills mansion outright. She had once embarrassed herself by pretending to be a student at our university, and Samantha had told the story as a joke many times. I tallied up the money, sent Kevin Mrs. Wong's contact info, and added, I want to break up. This isn't fun anymore. Figure out how much you owe me, and send it via Venmo. Kevin played dead. I expected as much. So I went through my purchase history, made a list, and printed out a bunch of flyers at the shop downstairs. The next day, I posted them all over the entrance to the men's dorm. The flyers read, Dorm room giveaway, everything must go. Location, East Hall, room 1235, bed 4 Kevin's bed. The following items are free to a good home. 1 item per person, first come, first served. Any issues, talk to me Tanya. Alienware laptop. Aesop hand soap. La Prairie Skin Caviar Luxe Sleep Mask the blue one. You can give it to your girlfriend. Kleenex Ultra Soft Tissues the thick, for ply ones. Calvin Klein underwear used, dirty not recommended. After posting them, I went to class. Before the lecture was even over, my phone was blowing up with texts from Kevin. A screen full of curses calling me a cheap, petty, small-minded psycho. I didn't read the rest. I just sent him a payment request for $1,314 with the message, you want to get back together? Show some effort. Or do you want to keep using my money to chase my roommate? Kevin paused for a few seconds, then started spamming me with voice messages and video calls. I could practically feel his rage through the screen. Before he blocked me, his last message called me a tacky hick who just happened to have a Porsche and told me I'd regret it. I figured he was so confident because he thought he was about to land a Maybach driving sugar mama. Sure enough, not long after, Mrs. Wong updated her Instagram. Amid a pile of luxury goods was a screenshot of Kevin fawning over her, his profile picture unblurred. The caption read, If you bloom, the butterflies will come. I'm not really as amazing as he says, I'm just a little more capable than others. The guys from my class who went to the dorm giveaway came back and teased me, saying my breakup with Kevin was getting pretty dramatic. He was totally humiliated. They said a girl like me shouldn't be so petty, that it would hurt my reputation. I laughed in their faces. I asked them if they enjoyed the free Aesop soap, and if they knew who paid for it. They walked away without another word. Holly was gone for a whole month. She suddenly reappeared 2 weeks before final exams. In those days, online outrage cycles were short. A month was more than enough for a huge scandal to be completely forgotten. She had changed her name to Holly Anson and gotten double eyelid surgery. Besides her close friends, most people had forgotten her story. She was now on academic probation, her expulsion held in abeyance. She had shed her flashy persona, and, upon returning to the dorm, immediately started apologizing, saying the past was the past and we should all move on. We were still best friends, she said. She even gave us copies of the exam outlines she had printed out. She had gotten the materials from the professor in advance, and was only sharing them with her 3 best friends. When it was my turn, she knelt beside me and quietly pulled out her phone. Kevin tried to contact me a few more times, but I ignored him completely. Now he's blocked me. It's not worth losing your best friends over a rotten guy. Tanya, let's just be good friends and ignore the losers. In my past life, I would have believed her apology was sincere. This time I was smarter. I said, "You're right, a scumbag isn't worth it. I heard he's chasing some rich girl on Instagram who also goes to our school. Looks like he didn't just dump me, he dumped you too." Holly paused. From our school? What's her major? Not that it has anything to do with me. I just want to focus on my studies and keep a low profile now. I saw right through her little act and just smiled without saying a word. Later, the professor sent out the official review materials as a digital file. We decided not to print them to save paper. To be honest, studying didn't matter much. The 3 of us had all gone to grad school after graduating, so we hadn't forgotten much from our freshman year core classes. Only Holly was smug, thinking she had given our dorm a week's head start on studying, and that she deserved all the credit. During the exam review period, Mrs. Wong was posting frequently on Instagram, often featuring interactions with Kevin. Until one day, she posted a passive-aggressive message. "What's this about some little sister wanting to meet me? Your whole vibe just screams thirsty." The screenshot showed a message from Holly Anson. "Hi, which department are you in? I've been wanting to treat you to dinner for ages. My friend Kevin has been hiding you away, probably afraid we tried to steal you from him, lol." Samantha secretly texted me. "Holly is way out of her league with Mrs. Wong. She's about to get destroyed." One night, a week before exams, we heard a man's screams outside the dorm building. We woke up the next day to find out that Kevin had arranged to meet the Maybach sister the night before, only to be ambushed by Mrs. Wong at the hotel entrance. She had torn his shirt off, and he'd run back in shame. A story that had already spread through the entire men's dorm. Even better, Mrs. Wong, claiming to be the original girlfriend who'd been cheated on and scammed, went on the campus confessions page and called out Holly Anson by name, accusing her of seducing her boyfriend and being a homewrecker. Holly couldn't afford another scandal. She spent the night hiring bots to scrub her name from the story and pin all the blame on Kevin, claiming he was a desperate simp who was two-timing them both, and that all the girls should watch out for toxic men. The narrative quickly turned against Kevin. Mrs. Wong then showed up on campus to cause a scene, nearly stripping Kevin in the study hall and sitting on the floor wailing for him to take responsibility. The whole thing was like a Hollywood blockbuster. Eventually, professors called security, who took Mrs. Wong away. Kevin was so humiliated he became a campus-wide joke. I heard his family paid Mrs. Wong off to make it all go away. After that, everyone completely forgot Holly's history. The campus gossip was all about the feisty widow and the young student, which scared Kevin so much he wouldn't even leave his dorm. He later transferred to a remote satellite campus for software engineering and was never seen again. But the night before finals, Kevin suddenly sent me a friend request, followed by a bunch of crying emojis. After I accepted, he first sent me a copy of the review materials for my major. "I worked really hard to get this top-secret guide. You'll need it for your exam tomorrow. You should study it tonight." I glanced at the file size. It was identical to the one the professor sent out. He was such a liar. "I've really missed you since we broke up. When I like someone, I don't care if she has money or not. Can we talk? Can we get back together?" I scoffed and sent him 3 payment requests: $520, $1,314, and $8,888. Same old line, "If you want to talk, show me some sincerity." Kevin hesitated, then paid the first 2. The third one sat there, unpaid, as he typed and deleted his message over and over. I just blocked him and posted a story on my feed. It's so nice having a personal ATM. After blocking him, on a whim, I downloaded the professor's official review materials to compare. What I found inside shocked me. The professor's file had over 20 more pages than the one Holly had printed for us. Was Holly doing this on purpose? I found the paper copy she had printed for herself. It was a perfect match for the digital version. It was only our copies that were missing huge chunks. No wonder. In our past life, she always insisted on printing the review materials for every final, telling us not to look at the digital versions because paper was more convenient. How many times had she tricked us? This is too hard. I don't want to study anymore. I'm just going to bed early. Before lights out at 11, Holly climbed into her bunk, acting like she'd given up. Just after midnight, she quietly slipped down from her bed with her phone and went to the 24-hour study lounge on the first floor to cram. Honestly, if she had just studied secretly without telling us, we wouldn't have thought it was so disgusting. But she always had to pull these petty tricks. In our past life, we never did anything to sabotage her studies. Was she just pathologically driven to harm the people around her? We absolutely could not let her get away with it. When the exam scores came out, as expected, a ton of people failed calculus. The pass rate for our class was only 40%. Holly intentionally started a group voice call, her voice trembling with fake tears. What are we going to do, guys? Calculus was so hard. I only got an 80. I can't believe I missed such easy questions. I'm so dumb. You guys definitely scored higher than me, right? I laughed coldly and posted a screenshot of my 92. Megan got a 90. Samantha got a 97. The questions were pretty simple. Not getting at least a 90 is kind of a problem. You shouldn't have had trouble, since we all studied together, Samantha shot back sarcastically. Holly looked like she'd swallowed a bug, unable to respond, her mouth hanging open. In the background, I could hear that Samantha was in her dorm room on campus. As a local, she had made a special trip back to the dorm during winter break. The course schedule for the next semester was out, and all our textbooks were in the dorm. She had taken all of Holly's books for the next semester and modified them. Linear algebra was left with only the odd-numbered pages. Probability and statistics, only the even-numbered pages. For physics, everything after Chapter 6 was just thrown out. The bottom line was, if you want the complete textbook, figure it out yourself. Don't blame us if you don't learn everything. Holly was the type who rarely paid attention in class, copied all her homework, and crammed at the last minute before exams. After winter break, months went by and she didn't even notice her textbooks were missing pages. It wasn't until just before the midterm quiz, when the professor outlined the topics, that she realized her books were incomplete. And all of them were incomplete. She asked in our group chat what the exact scope of the quiz was. I sent her a 4 megabytes PDF file. After the time limit for message retraction had passed, Samantha urgently tagged her, saying I sent the wrong file, and then sent a much smaller 800 kilobytes file with the correct scope. With the two of us putting on this little act, the ever-suspicious Holly would definitely choose to study the larger file. She wouldn't be getting any sleep that night. Time to cram. Sure enough, on the day of the quiz, Holly walked into the exam room with dark circles under her eyes, her steps unsteady, but with a huge, confident smile on her face. Then she saw the exam paper, couldn't answer a single question, and was the first to turn in her blank test, crying. When she got back to the dorm, she didn't dare confront me, so she took her anger out on Samantha. Are you crazy? You lied to me about the exam scope? Is this how you treat your best friends? Haven't I been good enough to all of you? What more do you want from me before you'll finally leave me alone? Samantha slapped her right back without hesitation. You know exactly who started messing with exam materials first. Don't play dumb. The finals last semester, are you going to say that wasn't intentional? It's your own fault for not checking the digital version. So what if a few pages were missing? You guys got such good grades anyway. What difference would a few missing pages make? You're all so evil, you'd better watch out, or your whole family will pay for it. Ever since she was reborn, Samantha was terrified of her parents' car accident repeating itself. She was extremely sensitive about such words. In an instant, her eyes turned red with fury, and she lunged at Holly. The next second, her phone rang. Her parents had been in a car accident downtown. She needed to go right away. The spring holiday, a car accident, being reborn. Too many keywords were colliding. Samantha was so terrified she lost her mind, sobbing uncontrollably in the taxi on the way there. When I arrived with her at the scene, we found out her parents' car had hit someone's pet dog. New car, new driver, new dog. Her parents and the pet's owner were all standing there, completely bewildered. Samantha's parents had her late in life, when they were nearly 40. They were dedicated teachers but clueless about practical life matters. The insurance company told them to call someone in the family who knew what they were doing to give advice, which is why they had called Samantha. After everything was sorted out, her parents wanted to treat all 4 of us roommates to dinner. They specifically requested that Holly come. Why are we inviting her? Did Bellevue give her a day pass or something? Samantha muttered, rolling her eyes. Just then, Holly walked up to the table and sat down, completely missing the insult. When she looked up and saw Samantha's parents, Holly froze. Samantha lazily explained. Forgot to tell you. These are actually my parents. Megan's parents couldn't make it, so I asked them to play the part. The luxury car isn't ours either. We're just a normal family. You're not mad, are you? We're best friends after all. Holly shot up from her chair, trembling with rage. If you're a normal family, why were you pretending? Who got the money for the car damage? I replied matter-of-factly. My friend did. I borrowed the car from a rich friend. Of course he had to be compensated for the damages. Megan added. This is rich. They're a normal family, but they never once bragged about being from LA. You, on the other hand, are always talking about LA people. What? Does your social security number start with 310? Samantha chimed in. Do you even get the Bellevue reference? It's a polite way of calling you crazy. Holly's eyes turned crimson with hate. She looked like she wanted to tear us apart. You've all been treating me like an idiot? That's right. Just like you treated everyone else like an idiot in our past life. Sam's mom stepped in to play peacemaker, saying that it was fate that brought us together as roommates. After much persuasion, we finally agreed to drop it. I watched Holly with a cheerful smile. That's right. The past is in the past, so why hold a grudge? You said it yourself, Holly. From now on, we're still best friends, right? I threw the same words she used to torment us right back in her face. Holly, her eyes red, silently picked at her food, humiliated but unable to argue. After dinner, Samantha said she wanted to go to a nearby temple to get a protective amulet. Since being reborn, she had become very superstitious. She felt Holly's curse was bad luck, and that she needed an amulet to counteract it. The rest of us went along and got fortunes for ourselves too. Back in the dorm, Holly immediately tucked her amulet under her pillow and slept on it. Unfortunately, that night our dorm had a cockroach infestation. We were all screaming and chasing it around the room, tearing the place apart. In the chaos, Holly's amulet fell out. It lay on the floor, where we could all clearly see the words scrawled on it. I hope Samantha's whole family dies. Samantha froze for a few seconds, her brain short-circuiting with rage. She just stared blankly at Holly. Holly calmly picked up the amulet, tore it to pieces, and threw it in the trash. I was just scribbling. It's a childish joke. You're not going to take it seriously, are you? That night, Samantha didn't get a chance to deal with Holly. Just as a fight was about to break out, our advisor called to say that Holly's mother had a sudden heart attack during an argument and had passed away. We were told to stay with her until a family member came to take her to the hospital. I remembered from my past life that her mother did have a weak heart, a condition she developed while trying to evade fines for having a second child. One second she was cursing someone else's family to die, the next, karma came for her. Holly wilted like a limp vegetable. She dazedly got into her uncle's car to go home for the funeral, and only showed up briefly for final exams before leaving again. At that point, we decided to let it go. If she deserved retribution for all the wrongs she committed in her past life, then the death of her mother was the heaviest punishment of all. From now on, we all had our own paths to walk. Whatever happened to her was none of our business. During the summer of our sophomore year, one of Megan's videos went viral on YouTube, gaining her over 400,000 subscribers, and making her a minor celebrity among young people. When we came back to school for the fall semester, we were shocked to see that Holly had gotten plastic surgery. Her nose, her mouth, her eyes, they all looked a little like Megan's. She even had a mole tattooed in the corner of her eye to match. She didn't explain. She just pulled out her phone and said coolly, "I've started creating content too." From then on, every single one of her videos was highly similar to Megan's. She blatantly copied Megan's topics, chased trends, and signed with a talent agency. Megan was very low-key in real life and didn't want to draw attention to herself on campus. Holly, however, was loud and proud, often getting asked for autographs in the cafeteria and loving every minute of it. We were disgusted by her, but because of what happened with her mother, we truly didn't bother with her anymore. In our sophomore year, Samantha and I started a renewable energy startup. Holly immediately copied us. Campus ambassador and consultant roles were trendy back then. We heard she became a campus representative for some buy now pay later service, using a big tech company's name to become popular again among her peers. She easily became the it girl for the freshman class. Back in the dorm, she would swagger in and mock us. What's the future in building stupid electric cars? You guys are just stubborn and talentless. How can you even compare to me? I shot back sarcastically, but you don't have a mom. Samantha added, but you don't have a mom. Holly's face turned green, her jaw trembling with rage. Don't be so smug. If you're jealous, just say so. You don't have to hit below the belt. But my net worth is on a different level from yours now. I'm moving out of the dorm next semester. I bought an apartment downtown. We'll have nothing to do with each other from now on. Megan, fiddling with her camera, suddenly said, I wouldn't be so sure about that. In the future, in court, I'll be the plaintiff in a copyright lawsuit, and you'll be the defendant. Holly froze for a second, then glared at her even more arrogantly. Go ahead and sue me then. Try to take down my entire talent agency. You go against Capital, and you'll end up with nothing left. She slammed the door and left. That day, I happened to run into the class president. He'd gotten one of the free soaps from the giveaway, and had been pretty nice to me ever since. He pulled me aside and asked, about the exchange student program. How come Holly was the only one from your dorm to apply? You guys all have better GPAs than her. Are you sure you don't want to reconsider? I vaguely remembered something about it, but the deadline was supposed to be far off. Was it already over? Classic Holly. What was she up to this time? Our university had a partnership program with a foreign university for a junior year exchange. The application window was tight, and the professor had notified the class president late at night. Holly had actively sought out the class president, taken the paper documents, and told him she would inform all the female students. She told everyone the deadline was next month, when it was actually in 3 days. In the end, only Holly herself applied. It's such a shame. Don't any of you girls want to be exchange students? Holly's application probably won't even get approved with a GPA that bad. Although it wasn't for a top-tier school, I was furious that Holly had pulled another one of her tricks. So I set her up during the next class meeting. At the meeting, the professor invited Holly to share her experience as a campus ambassador, praising her outstanding performance over the past year. After she finished her smug presentation, I went up to the podium with a smile to announce some good news. About the exchange student program, the application deadline was moved up. The class president was afraid we'd miss it, so he submitted the applications for all the girls in our class, and more than half of you were approved. The classroom was silent for a second, then erupted into chaos. Some were happy, some were frowning, but everyone was talking. You heard that right. He acted without asking first. But it's okay, you can decline the offer if you don't want to go. Holly's face changed. In the confusion, Samantha quietly switched Holly's laptop display back to her main screen. Her messaging app was open. Frantic, Holly started typing a message to the class president right there on stage. What's going on? The application form I gave you only had my name on it. How did everyone else get registered? The big screen broadcast her message live. Gradually, the room grew quiet as everyone stared at the screen. Holly typed again. Did you submit the wrong form? They weren't applying. I was the only one. A girl from the dorm next door stood up. Holly, what are you trying to say? Holly looked confused at first, but when she saw the big screen behind her, she froze as if struck by lightning, petrified. A cold sweat broke out on her forehead. I stood to the side and said coolly, what you're all seeing is the truth. Holly took the paper forms and told everyone the deadline was a month away, when it was actually in 3 days. She only submitted an application for herself. Technically, she didn't break any laws. She had no obligation to tell everyone. But still, how disgusting is that? Holly slammed her laptop shut and stood there defiantly. If you want to be an exchange student, you should figure it out yourself. There's only one spot. We're all competitors. Why should I be your mommy? Immediately, a group of girls from one dorm packed up their books and left, one of them calling her trashy on the way out. Gradually, all the girls in the class left, every one of them giving Holly a dirty look. The class president, feeling embarrassed, gathered his friends and left too. Soon the classroom was empty, leaving only a few of us to watch the show. Not long after, a poll appeared in the class group chat, started by the president. Holly is on academic probation. Her student status has been revoked, and she has a history of dishonesty. Should we keep her in the class group chat? Within half an hour, everyone had voted no. Holly was in the middle of typing an angry rant when the next second, she was kicked from the group. As she moved out of the dorm to focus on her career, we rarely saw her on campus anymore. Then one day, someone spotted Holly in a shared rental apartment just off campus. Her grand move to a downtown apartment was actually just a shared room she was renting with her boyfriend. I looked closely at the photo. Her live-in boyfriend was Kevin. Interesting. Megan spent her entire sophomore year fighting her copyright case. In the early days of social media, corporate influence wasn't as deep, and she was confident she could get justice. By our junior year, a major online retailer's credit service had entered the campus market, sparking a trend of young people getting into finance. However, the buzz around that product was quickly replaced by ads for another financial product. I looked closely at the flyer. It was for a P2P lending platform. One of the investors was Kevin. Not long after, the spokesperson was announced, Holly Anson. Someone saw Holly showing off her new BMW at the campus gate, looking incredibly smug. I told my friends not to be jealous. She wouldn't be on top for long. Some people, if you just leave them alone, will self-destruct. As graduation approached, Megan's copyright case finally saw a breakthrough. The agency behind Holly went bankrupt, leaving her without a safety net and officially named as the defendant. And don't forget, she was still on academic probation. If she got into trouble again before graduation, her diploma would be withheld, and 4 years of college would be for nothing. So Holly ran back to the dorm late one night, crying and begging Megan to drop the lawsuit. She deleted her social media accounts and disbanded her fan groups overnight. Megan refused to forgive her. When the court verdict came out, Holly lost. The school, fearing a media backlash, expelled Holly, and her diploma was gone for good. Megan didn't want compensation. She only demanded that Holly donate all the money she had earned from her social media career and issue a public apology online. Holly had no choice but to comply. After posting the apology, she vanished, leaving only a single text message for us. Don't get cocky. The little money I made from social media isn't even enough to buy me a car. You really think I care? What's so great about a degree from this university? I can just buy a master's or a PhD. With money, you can do anything. Goodbye, you bunch of peasants. Don't ever contact me again. The rich guy whose Maybach had been vandalized knew Holly. He was shopping in Hong Kong once and sent me a picture, saying he'd run into Holly, who was taking a foundation program. He guessed she was planning to start her master's in Hong Kong the following year. That was 2018. The next year was 2019. Studying in Hong Kong. The money Holly was spending wasn't clean. When the P2P platforms crashed, several financial company chairmen were arrested. I heard Kevin went down with them. That's when I remembered. Back in our senior year of college, the startup he was relentlessly pushing me to invest in was a P2P platform. Thankfully, I was focused on my studies back then and just blocked him. His venture never took off. In our past life, Holly never copied Megan or went down the social media path, so she was of no value to Kevin and dodged that bullet. This time, two people, both stupid and malicious, found each other and finally got what they deserved. I heard Holly never did finish her master's program. After 2019, there was no news of her. For years after graduation, Samantha, Megan, and I had a small reunion. We were all doing pretty well. Megan was about to hit 1 million subscribers on YouTube. She wasn't a top-tier creator, but her career was finally on track. Samantha's parents were alive and in excellent health, already planning their retirement. As we were talking, a news alert suddenly popped up on my phone. Fugitive suspect Holly Anson, formerly Holly Shuang, wanted in connection with a major financial fraud case, has been apprehended in Shenzhen.